Okay, so let's talk about cookware. I know it can feel super complicated, right? You see all these labels like green and non toxic, but what does that even mean? Well, today we're going to cut through all that noise and give you a really clear guide to the safest materials for your kitchen.
So let's just get right to it. That nonstick pan you love, the one that makes cleanup so easy, is it actually safe? It's a huge concern a lot of us have, and honestly, for very good reason.
And that's exactly what we're here to figure out. In this explainer, we are going to separate the marketing fluff from the real science. We're going to look at the actual materials so you can understand what makes cookware genuinely non-toxic. So before we get to the good stuff, we have to understand the problem. And yeah, that means we're starting with the most popular cookware out there, the good old conventional nonstick pan. So what is that magic nonstick surface anyway? Well, it's a chemical with a mouthful of a name, polytetrafluoroethylene, or PTFE. You probably know it by its much more famous brand name, Teflon. Yep, it's basically a type of plastic that's coated onto the pan. Now, this number right here is really, really important. 260 degrees Celsius or 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Why? Because that's the temperature where that PTFE coating can start to break down and release chemicals. And listen, an empty pan can hit that temperature on high heat in just a couple of minutes, way faster than you'd think. And when it does break down, it's not good. Studies have shown it releases gases that can cause what's known as polymer fume fever in humans. We're talking flu-like symptoms. And get this is pretty shocking. Those same fumes can actually be lethal to pet birds, whose respiratory systems are just so much more sensitive. Okay, so you've definitely seen PFOA-free slapped on a label, right? Makes you feel good about buying it. Well, here's the catch. That's mostly just marketing. See, PFOA was pretty much phased out years ago due to health concerns, but it's often been replaced by other chemicals from the same family, like Gen X. And some studies suggest they're just as bad. So remember, PFOA-free does not mean chemical-free. All right, so if conventional nonstick has all these potential issues, what are we supposed to be looking for instead? Let's lay down some simple ground rules for what makes cookware truly non-toxic. We can really boil it down to 3 simple rules. First, no fragile chemical coatings, period. Second, it has to be stable at high cooking temperatures. And third, it needs to be durable so you're not accidentally eating flakes of the pan surface. Makes sense, right? Okay, with those rules in our back pocket, let's meet our first set of heroes. And these are the classics, the tried and true materials that have been trusted for generations, long before any of these synthetic coatings were even invented. I'm talking, of course, about cast iron and carbon steel. You can think of them as cousins. Cast iron is that heavyweight champ. It holds onto heat like nothing else, perfect for searing. Carbon steel is its lighter, quicker cousin that's great for stir fries. The most important part, they are just pure iron alloys, no coatings. But wait, how do they get non-stick? This is where the real magic happens. It's a process called seasoning, and it's just a cool bit of kitchen science. You heat a super thin layer of oil on the surface, and the oil molecules literally transform and bond to the metal, creating this natural non-stick layer. You're creating your own non-stick surface, and it just gets better every time you cook. Now for our next hero, the material that's probably the biggest workhorse in both professional and home kitchens today. And that is stainless steel. It's tough, it's generally non-reactive, you can throw it in the dishwasher, and you don't have to season it. It's the ultimate low-maintenance tool for pretty much everything. But there's always a but, isn't there? It's not perfect. Research has shown that stainless steel can leach small amounts of metals like nickel and chromium, especially when you're cooking acidic foods like tomato sauce for a long time. So does that mean we should avoid it? Not necessarily. The key is knowing the grade of the steel. The common 304 grade is totally fine for most uses. But if you cook a lot of acidic dishes, think tomato or tamarind sauces, look for 316 grade stainless steel. It's just more resistant to corrosion from those acids. That brings us to our final category of heroes. I like to call these the inert guardians, because their whole job is to be almost completely non-reactive. Okay, first let's clear up a huge point of confusion. Solid ceramic versus ceramic coated. They are not the same thing. Solid ceramic cookware is made from clay and minerals, that's it. It's a pure, stable material. Ceramic coated pans, on the other hand, are just metal pans with a thin ceramic layer that can easily scratch and wear out, exposing the metal underneath. Enameled cast iron and glass cookware are perfect examples of these inert barriers. With enamel, you get the amazing heat of cast iron, but with a glass-like layer that prevents the metal from touching your food. And pure glass cookware? It's perfect for baking or storing food because it's completely non-reactive. It will not leach a thing.
Okay, we have covered a lot. So let's pull it all together into a simple playbook, your go-to guide for a healthy kitchen. All right, here it is. For searing and frying, use your seasoned cast iron or carbon steel. For daily cooking, especially acidic sauces, 316 stainless steel is your best bet. For stews and dals that simmer for a long time, enameled cast iron is perfect. And for the most leach-free cooking you can get, go with solid ceramic or glass.
And if you're wondering if this really matters, the data speaks for itself. This chart shows how much nickel can leach into tomato sauce. See that red line? That's the daily tolerable intake level. A new standard pan can contribute nearly half your daily limit from just one serving of sauce. Leaching does go down as the pan gets used more, but that initial impact is pretty significant.
So the next time you cook, just remember this. Your cookware is an ingredient you use every single day. Knowing what's in your pan is just as important as knowing what's in your food. So what's in yours?